Mr. Zine, before we get to you, Mr. Hui.
I would just like to state that the comments made were absolutely a lie, a bold-faced lie, and this individual is notorious for scandalous lying statements at City Council.
Go on, Mr. Dog.
Get ready for the most devastating minute in public comment history from the Kingpin, courtesy of Carmen Tutanich. And I'd like to say that the city has never been more corrupt under Carmen Tutanich, and that's why we have the FBI investigating this issue. The single biggest issue in the city of fraud, waste, abuse, and corruption. Hi, Jan. I love you, baby.
He still has not addressed item 5.
Wait a minute.
Get on item.
We're talking about a lien.
Connect to the lien. Just connect to the lien.
Building and safety report on lien. Building and safety investigated by FBI for the way they put lien. I'm here to say, vote no, because the FBI says that the building inspectors are taking bribes and it is resulting in people erroneously getting liens posted, then it's nearly impossible in this LA mafia-run racket to get your meat hooks off the property. My name's Zuma Dog from Fundamental Understanding of Constitutional Knowledge.
Thank you, Mr. Matt Dow.
Thank you. Yes, my name's Zuma Dog, blogging at zumadog.com. And in case you missed the announcement Friday, I too am a mayoral candidate in the 2013 LA mayoral candidacy. And you can find out more at zumadog.com. Now, I'd like to know, first of all, why am I running for mayor? I have a 6-year history of coming into these chambers. What happened is the city violated my rights. The very fundamental premise that this country was founded upon, the First Amendment. I felt they violated my rights, so I came here to protest. And then it turns out that I had to sue in federal court, and I won. Meanwhile, while I was here protesting, I found out that this is nothing but a RICO mafia organization that funnels money, pilfers money from the nonprofits. You pilfer it, you buy the stuff from your sister. A Taylor Yard, the mayor sells it to Richard Morello real cheap, then he sells it to DWP real expensive. I want to know, because I heard that the city council and the mayor had to send fake, forged, false statistics regarding the most important thing anywhere, fire department, life and death at risk. So I heard that you guys squandered and stole the money so badly that you had to falsify fire records to say that the response time was good when it wasn't really that good. Then you said, well, Jay, since it's so good, we can cut back on the fire because we pilfered, squandered, and lost all the money, and my sister, my friends, and my relatives, and I have it, and my son bought a house with it, and I think the FBI needs to come right in here right goddamn now and investigate this place. The city can't take another day of the corruption. Get over here, FBI. Barack Obama, how much longer can the people...
Please lower your voice, Mr. Dog.
Okay, how much longer can we keep getting fucked?
Lower the volume and watch your language, sir. That's it.
So I'm here to say release this property because, and this talks about asbestos, and we need to talk about building and safety because we never got to the bottom of Andrew Edelman. So let me just say that I think, first of all, I think what Andrew Edelman came across, it is about asbestos, Dion O'Connell. I think what happened was building and safety's Andrew Edelman discovered that pension money was being invested into projects that had asbestos, and they couldn't get the permits to do the building, so the city council took him out of the pub crawl, and he got bamboozled, and how come he's still getting a pension and no files were
Please
charged?
lower your volume, sir.
Yes. So I'd like to say the top story, this is about asbestos, and they're having a lien placed on him, and I'd like to go on record as saying that Andrew Edelman was staying in one of these lofts, and he discovered there were asbestos, and the mayor got in a real hook because he had CIM pension money into a
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, and I am dedicating
he has 1 minute left.
And I am dedicating all my time to the building and safety issue because you can't keep people in homes. People can't do business if you have the mafia, if you have the hardcore RICO mafia that has seized the LA City Council members, and if you have inspectors taking bribes, and it centers a lot in Herb Wesson's district, and Jose Huizar's district and Tony Cardenas's district and a lot of the districts. Why? Why does the FBI have to be involved for a simple thing like inspecting a building property? People are losing homes, and you know there's a lot of talk right now. Hey, I want everyone to stop talking right now, Bernard Parks. Mike Hernandez, oh my God, Mike Hernandez is talking. He's part of the...
Stay on the subject. Stay on the subject.
So, okay,
Stay on the subject. And don't yell.
The subject is the FBI is investigating for building and safety in Herb Wesson's district over salmon, and you have drug cartel in your district that got busted for...
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Koretz.
I just have a question. I know he's on the most broadly tangential element of the subject. Could we
Wait a minute,
have this guy
Mr. Koretz
dealt with? I can't even speak.
Zuma Dog, don't disrupt the meeting. You're disrupting the meeting again. Mr.
Is there
Koretz.
some way to deal with these routine items like liens and have people actually speak to the specifics of the lien rather than use it as another 2 minutes of public comment? Not dealing with whatever he said in the content, but it had nothing to do with a lien to clean a property. Can we be tighter on our requirements so we don't add an extra 30 minutes of general comment that has nothing to do with the items?
In fact, Mr. Koretz, what I will do, I think you raise a good point, and I'll have a discussion with the city attorney's office just to kind of get a feel for the flexibility that we have. Just like all of the members here, we would like to see the meetings move more efficiently without these outbursts. So with that said, on this item, Madam Clerk, let's open the roll.
So you can write what they said in the lawsuit. If some building and safety inspector said you can go to hell or why don't you fuck yourself or anything,
Hey,
you can
you
write
need to
that.
watch your language, sir. Your time is up. You are disrupting the meeting with your language, sir. That's enough. Cut off his mic. That's it. Sit down, Mr. Dowd. The language is offensive, disrupting the meeting. Please escort him out.
Now, this is building and safety, so I'm going to put down on record that I had an exclusive interview with building and safety head Bud Overham on Friday, and I said, Bud, how's the FBI investigation going? He said, it's always here. So I'd like to remind council, I'm asking for an aye vote on this because the FBI is investigating this very department for this very issue, lien. And I'd like to note, it just happens to be in Mr. Bill Rosenthal's district. Yeah, isn't it just great? We're trying to keep people in homes. We're trying to do everything we can to facilitate people in homes, except we got a little problem with the building and safety. See, they put erroneous liens on the homes, and this one's a lien on my property in my district. But see, sometimes they do erroneous liens, and then no matter what you do, it's impossible to get off the lien because building and safety is a corrupt FBI racket department, and it's under FBI investigation. So, in other words, I don't know what to do, but I would vote no, because with the FBI investigating me, Bill Rosenthal's district, for this lien, I'd like to say that the liens are fake, they're phony, they're fraudulent, they're not legal and legitimate, and then you can't get off, and then when you try, so what happened was my friend had an erroneous lien placed in Bill Rosenthal's district, just like this one, from the Building and Safety Department. So I said, gee, this person, it's an erroneous lien. This lien was put on the person's property with the wrong name, with the wrong owner. This is not the person who owns the property. The city said, oh, we're sorry, you're right. This was an erroneous lien. You're okay now. He said, well, can I have that faxed over in paper form? They would not do it. So once the erroneous liens pass down the line, you cannot get the city to send you the sign-off paper because it's a corrupt, RICO, racketeering, mafia, drug cartel-based city council. That's who runs it.
Here we go, Mr. Herman, Mr. Dowd, and Mr. Zuma Dowd. All three of you, just come on up.
At the same time, since I'm here, we'll talk about the rent escrow. Now, first of all, my qualifications for speaking on this topic, Zuma Dog, historic, legendary gadfly, coming here 6 years this week. Now, what I found coming here for 6 years is a lot of these rent escrows come through, but it has now been told that the FBI is investigating not only the Building and Safety Department for taking bribes, but the LA Housing Department for this rent escrow issue. And I think it should be noted that there was bribe taking in the LAHD housing department under Roberto Adolpe for the Koreatown planning department to get things done in Koreatown in Herb Wesson's district. So what happens here is with the rent escrow, the city likes to pretend they want to keep people in homes, but they come up through a fraud racket because we have a mafia mob that is only here to seize properties. The city of Los Angeles has one goal: seize properties. It's like Vegas. They have one goal. You know, play the blackjack game, seize the people's money. Well, in L.A., the housing is the property to be seized. So what happens is they had to break law of which a court had to get involved. Superior Court said that the city of L.A. is in violation of the law by having the housing department cite building and safety code. So people were being illegally fined, illegally feed. Then it goes into lien, and it goes into REAP, and then the mistakes get passed down the line, and then they send out the hearing notices late. So you get the notice for the hearing. After the hearing, you lose your property, people are kicked out, and then the city wins through illegal racketeering. So I'd like to say, as candidate for mayor in the 2013 election, I'd have to say the top issue, since I've been coming here for 6 years, is that the city council is a bunch of full-of-S phonies because they sit here and pretend like they want to keep people in homes. But I go by what they actually do, and that is by having people take bribes and put illegal fines and fees until the FBI has to get involved. When are you going to stop it?
Thank you. Item, and I think Mr. Zumadog was first, followed by Arnold Sachs and Matt Dowd.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My name's Zumadog, LA candidate for mayor, and I care about people. Excuse me. So here's some things that I would suggest for the financial fitness for the people watching at home. First of all, you better start stacking your chips because you need to keep money on hand for when you get arrested, because LAPD has been found to be doing racial profiling. So when you're pulled over because of that, you're going to need money to get out on bail. Also, you're going to need money for your own private ambulance services because the city squandered all the money and now they can't respond properly to emergencies. And like you heard, 1 minute could cost you your whole life. Also, you need money for the building and safety department for when they come to your house to pay the inspector for the bribe. And then when the rent escrow inspector gets there, you need to pay for the bribe. And then also when you have a permit up for renewal.
Mr. President, he's not talking about this item.
This is advice for the people that are participating in the fair.
Come on back to the
these
item.
People watching at home,
Just get back on the item.
They need
Get to the item.
financially fit because the city is shaking them down with fees and fines and taxes
Okay.
and inspector bribes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Taken away from me.
Thank
So
you.
that's what
Thank you.
does.
Thank you.
Makes
Thank you.
FBI trouble.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, you're disrupting the meeting. Now, Mr. Sachs.
Oh, and the redistricting effort
Thank
is
you.
the heist.
Thank you. Thank you. There's
Yes, it's the headliner
Mr.
of the
Dog.
Zuva Dog Show. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Council Puppers, for going along with the orchestrated mob tells you to. Now let's talk about the headline issue. We're talking about rent escrow, and I'm here to say, please release all these off the rent escrow because there happens to be an FBI investigation into the way that properties are put into the rent escrow through the systematic code of shady enforcement. The building inspector, first of all, it was right. You know, the city council sits here and says they're trying to keep people in homes, and they want people to keep their homes, and they don't want people to lose their homes. But they should tell that to the inspectors that are in the mafioso mob crew that are busted by the FBI for taking bribes, that'll walk right up to your home or your property and say, hey, you got to do this, hey, you got to do that. And you say, well, no, there's no reason to. And they'll say, well, now you got to do this and now you got to do that. And where's my bribe on top? And then before you know it, you find out that the whole thing was a big sham and you never should have had the fee assessed in the first place, because it's only to be found out that the housing department has been quoting and citing building and safety code, and the court said that that's illegal. It's kind of like Netflix charging you for Blockbuster. You see, you have the housing department and they do their own enforcement, and then you have the building and safety department and they do their own. But oops, there was a little mistake. They thought they were Siamese twins. So you had the housing department that was saying, hey, we're going to cite you for building and safety. And so then you get the fine, and then it goes to lien, and then you don't get to the hearing in time because they sent you the notice late. And so then you lose the property, only to be found that it was an erroneous lien in the first place and that the whole department's under FBI investigation, baby, because the city of Los Angeles is guilty, guilty, guilty. They've been guilty of illegally citing people and finding them and seizing properties. It's been in the Superior Court, October 11. So you lose, and this is a corrupt organization.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On this item, let's open the roll.
I can tell you exactly what the FBI was interviewing people with last Thursday, okay? It's about housing. All right, so I want total respect, total quiet when I'm talking, okay? By the way, the icon, yeah, LA Weekly, baby. Hey, Ed Reyes, how you walking away, pal? Why don't we talk about your district a little bit, okay? Oh, okay, he's got to go. That's okay. I like Ed Reyes, a sweet spirit. But let's talk about a not-sweet spirit, a hairy ape of a beast, Carmen Tutanich, that knucklehead clown of a moron. First of all, I want the city to know that me and Matt Dowd whooped his ass in federal court.
Hey, Zuma, I'll hold your time. Back up a little bit. The mic is cracking.
Yes,
Go.
okay. Thank you. Yes, I'd like to say that me and my pal Matt Dowd whooped Carmen Tutanich's ass, but good in federal court. Didn't even have an attorney. And now this clown of a chump wants to run for DA? What a loser. Meanwhile, you can look at me right here. I'm right there. In the, when it says trampling rights, I'm the one that they're putting in the picture there. All right? And let's talk about Carmen Tutanich, by the way. It's called pay for play. Okay, now he hired Myers-Nave, an outside counsel firm, to drag out our settlement. And I found out that Myers-Nave, a long list of attorneys that contributed to Carmen Tutanich. I don't know why Dennis Zine would want to endorse him. But now that I'm kind of in a bad mood, let's just tell everybody watching that whatever these people do here, it's all a bunch of BS because they're just puppets of the mafioso orchestrated mob. That's why the FBI had to get involved. The FBI is running deep into City Hall, and we got these people right here that are in big trouble. Don't believe a word they say.
Thank you, Mr. Dog. Michael, thank you. Mr. Zumadog.
Yeah, we're talking about the daytime juvenile curfew. I'd like to spend a minute, and this is a sensitive issue, of course. I want to make sure that the kids' rights and First Amendments aren't being trampled upon, because if you look at the LA Weekly, Carmen Tutanich rights trampled. Now, here's what I want to make sure of. With the LAUSD, for example, it's very tough for kids to get to school these days under challenging times, and maybe they have to take care of parents or their relatives, and maybe they're out on the streets when they shouldn't be, and then they might get a little infraction ticket, and then maybe it goes to warrant, and then before you know it, you got the LAPD coming in the schools and like pulling kids out of the schools because of some little infraction, and the parents have to lose work to go to the courts, and then it's on your record. And then I think kids are scared to even go to school because of this. So I just want to really make sure that this is to really get bad people doing bad things, and a lot of innocent kids that are challenged to get to school don't end up getting caught up for city revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Dow.
The council runs up to Bill Rosendahl and says, what do we do to get him out of here? But Bill's just a spineless do-nothing. You got to talk to Carmen Tutanich. You got to talk to Carmen Tutanich. He loves us here. Because what are we doing? We're destroying you guys. Okay, so Bill wasn't here for his own roast yesterday, so let me just recap. We got somebody called Bill Rosendahl, and it's a real public safety issue in the city of Los Angeles because he suffers from a disease called Rosendahlism. Promise everything to both sides, then deliver nothing. And it all results in sidewalk cracks so big you can live under them, more homelessness than ever, police complaining to Zuma Dog Jesus. It's something different every year with this guy. And, yeah, but gee, isn't it just great? Isn't it just great? The public comments figures are just great. Zuma Dog, you're just great. You're great. Oh, you know what? I think I want to pass a law to limit what you do. Occupy LA is just great. Free speech is just great. And so Bill Rosendahl, the only council member to ever pass legislation that was defeated in federal court for being a First Amendment lawbreaker of the Constitution, is now going to be the first one to pass law to try to get something done to limit the public comments figures. What a phony, y'all. What an effing phony. He's just under Eric Garcetti, according to LA Times. Now, I'd like to say that I have a new music video. If you were here yesterday, Pat McOsker was here detailing the problems when council lies and then cuts fire services and lives are at risk. I have a new song. It's called More Than Just Stealing, to the tune of Boston at ZumaDog.com. And it's more than just stealing. And you have all types of things that you're not doing. The sanitation, the trash is piling up. And so what are we going to do with money that is available for the city? Let's renovate the bathrooms of the Hollywood Bowl. Isn't that Jim Dandy? I'd like for the people in East L.A., I'd like all the low-income people throughout the city that aren't getting the services provided to them, that the money that could be used for something in your district, to fix your sidewalks, your potholes, to do sanitation, to keep parks, or to do something, they're using it to restore the Hollywood Bowl bathrooms. Isn't that nice? Why don't we just take our wine and cheese and have a nice firework display, and then we can eat the cheese off the new bathrooms that have been restorated so beautifully? That's what we should do with money that's available to the city. Restore the bathrooms at the Hollywood Bowl. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm getting sick.
Please lower the volume. You're being disruptive. Please lower the volume.
Okay. And I need a ruling on what the appropriate volume is, but I respect the request, and I'd like to just say, again, in case you're just tuning in, here's some things to look for. First of all, what numbers were used for this community plan? Because it's come to my attention in the Hollywood community plan that they are like switching back and forth between census numbers and SCAG numbers, which SCAG is just, it's like using modeling projections of the fire department as opposed to real census. So I want to make sure real numbers are being used for this, and I'm hearing laughter, and Tony Cardenas is laughing. Oh my gosh, the reason I'm concerned about this is because Tony Cardenas is the king of RICO racketeering contracting. The reason city workers...
Mr. President, he's not talking about this item.
Please address the council.
This is the item. And I'd like to say to the city workers, the reason they don't have jobs is because Tony Cardenas contracts out all the contracts with mafia cronies.
Thank you very much.
Doesn't get work. And the guy's under FBI investigation.
Thank you very much. This last minute is down. Okay.
Now you're going to make Matt so rich that the city's going to be closing another library. It's going to be the Matt Dowd library closure. So Matt Dowd, don't go anywhere, because we got the law on our side, and Council President Wesson knows that, because that word's allowed in the context. But now let's talk about some serious things. I was going to talk about my Venice Beach lawsuit and the fact that I have a settlement proposal with Jutanich, and please ask him about it, because he's dragging this out and hiring expensive outside counsel. Talk to Rosendahl. He wants to get me the heck out of here, as many do you. So let's talk about while I'm here. First of all, so you have the housing department citing building and safety code. Then you get fined. Then you get liened. Then you lose your property. But the court said that the housing department may not cite building code because the building code has its own enforcement mechanism. If you have been fined or lost property in the city of Los Angeles because the housing department cited building code, contact ZumaDog at ZumaDog.com. I am contacting the FBI with each case.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dog. We have now Carlos Mataquin, followed by Superman.
And I would like to say that this is a public comment and it is not a debate, and we have had council members today numerous times talk more than 50 words. Now, I'd like to say that I wish that this would be removed or that the gentleman would have more time, because it's been brought to my attention, and I have notified the FBI over this, that the Building and Safety Department over systematic code enforcement is in massive violation. They lost a court ruling in October of 2011 that said as such. They have been illegally citing property owners. Then a fine gets tagged, it gets passed on down the line. It's impossible to get off of this. And even I have had to get involved myself where people have been compliant, and they go, well, gee, can I have the sign-off paperwork to show I'm compliant? Gee, we'll fax it later. No, we can't do that. So ZumaDog gets on the phone. I go, you got 15 minutes to fax that, or I'm calling the FBI. So it was faxed in 12 minutes. So I'd like to say that the systematic code enforcement is under FBI FBI investigation because people are being illegally fined and then their properties are being seized and they can't do anything to get off the hook because it goes to voicemail and messages aren't returned, and then you post something illegally on their property that never should be there in the first place, and then you can't get it off, and then you lose your property. So I would like to say, in an abundance of caution, I'm sure you can give this nice gentleman some more time, or say, you know what? You happen to have snuck under the wire this time and made it to the council chambers the day Zuma Dog was here, so now he knows about it, and now he's going to the FBI about it. So maybe the best thing involved would be if you just let this guy live his life, and you don't tag him and fine him and fear him till he can't do anything, and now his life's miserable, and then when he comes to give his little 2 minutes, then you got to have a council member come up and talk and say what a bad guy he is. I love this guy, and I love his family, and I think the city's an evil, corrupt body that is illegally seizing properties due to an FBI investigative systematic code of enforcement, baby. Where what happens is they'll show up to your house and go, oh, hey, you know, you need to fix your laundry room. Well, excuse me, I don't want to fix the laundry room, it's fine. Well, you got to fix the laundry room. Well, then you know what? I'll just shut down the laundry room. No, now you can't do that either, because the mafioso the inspector is there, and by the way, they've been accused of taking bribes and guilty. So this is real stuff we're talking about. And so now the person gets fined and feed, and then let's say even if they pay the fine and fees. Well, then you say, well, gee, I paid the fine and fee. Can you fax me confirmation so that they don't take my property? Well, that is nearly impossible. You have to be the great bipolar schizophrenic Zuma Dog screaming at the guy in the accounting department that you're calling the FBI in 15 minutes if you don't fax it over for the friend. So again, urging a no vote due to the fact that the fees have been illegally assessed in many of these cases because the housing department has been citing building and safety code. And to repeat the top headline of 2011, in October, after everybody went away for Thanksgiving and Christmas and nobody knew about it, well, they said that the city of Los Angeles is guilty, baby. They're guilty, guilty, guilty of the housing department illegally citing building code when we already have a building code department to do that. So people's properties were lost, baby, and you stole them. So vote no.
Thank you, Mr. Zuma Dog. A late entry here, Mr. Herman. All right, Zuma Dog, please.
Yes,
Zuma
yes.
Dog, I've been informed you only have 1 minute. You want to use it on this one? Or?
Yes. Okay, let me talk double fast. Okay, so we're talking about HUD. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we got HUD. Now, here's the problem. The money gets eaten away by corruption. And when I say eaten away, I mean literally by Maria Del Angel. So we need to have accountability because talk about FBI investigations. Yes, they're investigating the way the city spends the HUD money too. Womp, 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 womp.
Mr. Zine.
Yes, thank you. Zuma Dog, candidate for mayor 2013. And you can read more about what I'm discussing here at ZumaDog.com. Time is limited. I'll be following up. Now, first of all, I'd like to talk about the First Amendment and the interruptions and the Brown. Okay, there are times when the president can interrupt the speaker if the speaker is issuing a threat or is truly off topic. I believe council is using the off-topic rule when they don't like what the speaker is saying. But besides that, you can't interrupt the speaker to say, have more dignity, be more respectful, relax, lower your voice, try to say the word Woody Guthrie every 5 words. These are all illegal interruptions. And we do have a case in federal court. Please stop doing it. Because then what happens is we get upset when you cut us off, and then Michael Cariano, myself, and all the others, then we respond badly after you have violated the law. And by the way, they are illegal. And then with the threats, please stop threatening the public comment speakers. You say we disrupt the meeting. I don't know any public comment speaker that has ever threatened the council members. But Herb Wesson had to apologize in the LA Times, and Paul Koretz is not as smart. He says, yeah, perhaps he shouldn't have threatened, and he's still not sure. We got real problems here, because now the city wants to use the gadflies as an excuse. If you're watching on TV 35, Council is discussing pulling the broadcast on these meetings. They want to blame it on gadflies who are here to expose the fraud, waste, and abuse, as the FBI is now investigating City Hall, as the mayor is now calling for a large number of layoffs, as the city is not able to provide basic services, as they're going to be losing on federal money, not able to be compliant because the administrative staff is not able to function. What's going to happen in 2013? They want to blame it on Zuma, dog. Isn't that just great?
Mr. Sachs, I see that you've returned. Next.
Yes, and next in this case is Zuma Dog, and my credential is 2013 LA candidate for mayor, and I've discussed this topic profusely, and you could read about it at zumadog.com. Now, I'd like to read a statement first, and please allow me the flexibility. This is on topic. I have to read this first, if you could please allow it. I see Dion getting nervous. Richard Alarcon, council member, said, "It saddens me that they would waste time, Zuma Dog, 3 times a week in council."
He is not on
Okay,
this
I was
topic.
going to...
Connect it back, Mr. Dog, to the REAP item.
Okay, now, if I could tell you afterwards, I'd like to let you know where I was going if I could be afforded that. But so then we'll talk about the REAP. The FBI is investigating Los Angeles City Hall, the Los Angeles Housing Department. Herb Wesson, the now current council president, was housing chair for the period of time of which the FBI is now investigating this very program. I'm here to ask for an aye vote to release all these properties off of REAP because we understand that the outreach contractors have conflict of interest.
Zuma Dog, and I have Batman, and if Batman is Matt, you have 1 minute left, and Mr. Norjanian as well.
These are being seized. Vote no. The FBI is investigating.
Thank you. If we could have Superman.
Wow. I know in my community, response is slow. I see fire departments going like chickens with no heads. But I sit here as the fireman speaks. Mr. Parks is in the book. Ms. Perry's not paying attention. Mr. Zine was having a conversation. Mr. Cardenas was talking to his staff. Nobody paid attention.
Hold the clock, please. Hold the clock, please. Hold the clock, please. Madam City Attorney, I want to ask the Speaker to address the chair. That's the rules. Right to me. Right to me. Thank you. Address the chair. Start the clock again.
Address you? I can address the City Council, not the chair. Well, somebody can explain to him. He doesn't even know who can get disqualified for how long. Maybe the chair should learn what the responsibilities and obligations are to sit on that chair. Because Mr. LaBonge doesn't know if a person can get kicked out for a month or a day. Maybe he should learn what it takes to sit on that chair first before he sits here and tells people what to do. Okay? I don't have to speak to the chair. I can speak to the TV just like everybody else does, and I can speak to the council members just like everybody else does. Or do I have to be from a different country? I'm sorry, but I was born here. This is my country. And I'll be damned if you're going to sit there and tell me how I can do it and what I can and cannot do about it. Let's get that much straight. Okay? Now back to where I was before I was rudely interrupted. And then he has an audacity to tell people to shut up out here. The nerve of you. I don't understand this. The city's going to hell in a handbasket, and you're going to sit up there and dictate. Now, I'm all confused on where I got to go. I'm upset. So I guess I'll just salute you. Hi, Hitler!
Yeah! Arnold Sachs. Mr. Koretz.
Is there any way to deal with that last comment by that last speaker? It certainly seems inappropriate.
Our city attorney, you want to rule that, Madam City Attorney? I'm offended, but I don't want to violate the laws. What I really would like, members, is if people come and have public comment, that we listen to them, but they direct it to the chair, not personal remark. In addition to that, I would like CLA staff or all staff to assist the people so they don't come here just speaking without any consequence of some success to their thoughts.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. Don't start yet, but I mean that's a highly offensive thing. Frankly, it hasn't disrupted the meeting yet, but I'm very tempted to go over there and clock them. I mean and that will disrupt the meeting.
Council member.
Certainly was designed to elicit that kind of response, and I'm not having any of it.
A council member understood, and we would be happy to brief the council on the applicable standards, but there's certainly no disagreement regarding the offensiveness of the conduct, but there would have to be some, we believe, further discussion and briefing on as to the disruption.
I'm not sure what that means. How are you addressing this now?
Councilmember, I believe that you can respond to it as you did with your comments. And again, I would be glad to brief you further as to the exact legal parameters. But in order, you can express your disagreement with it, and that has been done. If you're asking me if it's a basis to evict someone from the council chamber, I believe our advice is that it must, in fact, have caused an actual disruption.